they had another video I like this. The same guys who posted one of my videos last week, 2 weeks ago, then posted something with Rabbi Fowler, and he was talking about how God could save us from all sorts of troubles and trials and tribulations and from our enemies, but He cannot save us from our own stupidity. So I recommend that video. I don't recommend videos that often. I don't have much time to see it, and it also emphasizes why these videos that the rabbi's been doing with Jonathan Pollard are so necessary. Because sometimes in times of crisis, it's less about talking, Gemaras and halachas and Tanakh, and more about how we're supposed to react and view that which is going on around us. Who else, by the way, what's the precedent for studying these types of warnings? Unfortunately, what might be in the realm of politics, geopolitics. Where do we have the precedent in Torah study for at being well aware of everything going on around us and taking heed and trying to actually act on it in the right way? Well, it's in this week's Parsha. It's in Tzavim also. Yeah. Well, no, that was Kisavo. Okay, but I was talking a little bit about Nitzavim. People realizing what's going on when the Nachri comes to the land of Israel and he realizes, wow, what happened to this place? It's all burnt up. What happened? Well, there was a people here with whom God made a covenant and they didn't keep His covenant, and He expelled them. More than that, there's the book of Jeremiah, which is talking about the destruction of the first temple and the first commonwealth. And as we saw, Jeremiah's career as a Navi basically spanned 40 years. The last 40 years of the Gullus, of the last 40 years leading up to the Gullus, and perhaps a little bit before that. So not, they say, I think Sonsino calculates 41 years. So what happens there? He was basically telling everybody, look around you and seeing the crisis as it develops. Okay, there's a crisis developing, and there's a right way to fight the wars. There's a right way to deal with these Gentile oppressors and Gentile conquerors. And it's unfortunate. I don't think that even, let's say, Orthodox Jews who are very much into, let's say, keeping Shabbos and Kashrus, and they're studying Torah and they're going to synagogue and everything like that, they are completely disconnected from the socio-political and even economic realities that dictate how we should be living and the recommendations that the prophets and the sages made to us for those situations. Okay? People just we're tone deaf and we are illiterate in this regard. Yes, I'm saying like it's a bad thing. Yeah, very good joke. Okay, so we have to see it. I'm also floored, by the way. This is saying that I'll tell you, I saw someone made nowadays with AI and other things. Even before AI, we had Photoshop. People create visions of things, like Rabbi Fireman said. You have creativity. You actually can, with film and special effects, you can create a vision of something you see and actually give someone else that vision. They can actually see the awesomeness of what you're trying to show. So he created a what if, what it would look like newspaper headlines, okay, and also front page news. The construction of the temple has begun. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to see? You wouldn't want to see on a newspaper page headline the construction of the temple has begun? Why not? Construction, not destruction. Construction. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? Okay. That'd be a great thing to see. And like the way they envisioned how the newspaper is going to report newspapers. People still read newspapers, I guess online newspapers. Okay. The pictures and everything, this is the beginning of the construction of the temple. And that kind of thing gave me chills. And I'm thinking that the greatest nisim that God does, that God did for the Jewish people, the biggest, I guess, the most awesome revelations of God were when God created when the temples were inaugurated. Think about the Mishkan in the desert and the first temple. Okay, awesome sights and miracles, and since Sinai, by the way, and the amazing Jewish victories in war, the destruction of Sichon and Og, for example, and what happened to the Mitzrim, the Egyptians at the sea. That's amazing. Deborah sang a song about this. David HaMelech sang a song like we saw last week, and where there are so many people who, I don't know why, Jewish people who are actively fighting for these things not to happen. If we were to see all our enemies be destroyed, if we were proper Jews and we had the right hashkafa about things, and we were to see today the downfall of all of our enemies in a miraculous fashion, hopefully we're praying for such a thing, would we thank God? Would we create a holiday about that? Well, I don't know. There's some people who don't want it to happen. I can tell you large swaths of Jewish society have no interest in, let's say, if they could have the chance, prosecuting a war in which the Jewish people would thoroughly destroy their enemies. And if I tell them tomorrow, we are now going to all take part in the rebuilding of the temple, how many of them would be on board with such a thing? Depending who says it. It doesn't matter who says it. In the second time around, it was a Goyish king of Persia who said, everybody, you can rebuild the temple. Go. Here's all the money you need. Blank check. And here's even the kalim from the first temple to get you started. Did the majority go along with such a thing? Did it become a holiday in Jewish history? Yeah, that's what the end part of Shir Shirim is about. A few midrashim and a few books of our Bible discuss this. When it came time to build the second temple, there was a noticeable lack of enthusiasm. A lack of enthusiasm that lasted for 2 decades and led to was the beginning of, well, we finally got this whole temple going and everything's okay, but this is not the final redemption. You know why? Because of your lack of enthusiasm and alacrity in doing this. So I'm surprised we haven't gotten over this. The Jewish people have to be ready for amazing victories, which is why how the prophet Haggai, who was the one who came and told them, you have to actually finish building this temple. Just because you had some setbacks, they just stopped. And God came and told them, no, you were supposed to have finished already. All your problems are because you are lackadaisical with regards to building this temple. Next, he told them, by the way, he promised Zerubbabel, if you go along with this, I'm going to just flip over all the kingdoms and make you on top, defeat of all your enemies. If God, you just take a little bit, just take the opportunity that God is giving you, you'd be able to witness amazing miracles. We could have tomorrow the destruction of all of Israel's enemies, if they just turn the firepower the right way and let people actually do their job. We could have another six-day war, I think was the last time God created a big open miracle for the Jewish people. Sorry, I missed it. And I guess we missed the opportunity, so that God doesn't give you such golden opportunities. And also to rebuild the temple. So we need to, now we have lesser opportunities, but we still have it, and we have to take them.